As a CEO, do you have a leadership philosophy?
Well, I do, but it's sort of like evolved over a lifetime. Like leadership's not something you're born with. I think leadership's something that you learn as you go along, and you make a few mistakes and you try and improve it. And also, what's required of you is changing. I mean, you've only got to look at the discussions around. In the US, the big thing is a racial discussion, and here we've got the discussion about women not being treated properly. And some of those things, I mean, it stuns me a bit because I thought most companies got over this 10 or 15 years ago. But there's some basics. If you don't do some basic things like looking after your staff, no one's going to look up to you as a leader. They're going to look down to you. So it's really, really important that you're honest. You do what you say. You treat people with dignity. You look out for people. It might be outside the company rules, but if someone's got a problem, you step in and give them all the aid and assistance you can. If you don't do those basic sorts of things, you won't get any respect at all. And I think that's where leaders sometimes go wrong, and they can't understand it, that happens. And then it goes back to, if you've got an employee, we have like a no asshole rule. and if you've got if you've got somebody who's a bit of a bastard to work with, then it disrupts everybody around them, and they can't do their job, and they've got this conflict, and so you've got to go find them and get rid of them. And that's important. You do that. I think we've got a pretty good team at the moment. They're all happy, because there's no one. They come to work, do their job, and they go home, and so those sorts of things are important. But there's a whole lot of basic things you need to have a sort of plan around, how you're going to train and develop people. You're going to give them promotions. I mean, people become very loving towards the company if they get promotion, and if they end up at a level they never thought they would achieve. And that doesn't have to be in the high levels. We had a guy who was a greaser, and we wanted fitters. So instead of going outside, we said to him, do you want to do an adult apprenticeship? And I worked his wages, so his wages never went down, they only went up. And 5 years later, he said to me, I never ever thought I'd be a tradesman. And some of these guys then went on and did a second trade. They're double certified. So we've got some wonderfully skilled employees that have come up. But they'll work with us forever.
Yeah.
Never thought. I mean, they earn huge money, so that they work forever. And that's what we want. We want people to stay with us. So we'll go out of our way to make sure that we look after our staff to keep them.
Yeah.
For those in our community who are aspiring C-suite or GMs. When you're hiring leaders within your business, are there any sort of key characteristics that you don't compromise on?
Well, if we're hiring for the most senior levels, we do a pretty tough analysis. And one of the analysis we do, which you might often hear about, is we do sort of a graph. And on one side, it's like, on the vertical, it's like maturity of decisions. And then on the other axis, it's your agility. Now, and then we graph everybody out. I don't like anything, you got most of your staff are in the middle. You got a few on the left that aren't so agile, and a few on the right that are very agile and make very good decisions, and they're your top leaders. And now you might say why, and the answer is this: is that the problems that the chief executive gets are problems that no one else in the business could solve. And usually you haven't seen before, and you've got to come up with a creative decision to get out of it. And if you don't solve it, you've got a problem. So creative, and you need to make, as I said, responsible decisions. You can't, make flippant decisions. You might make them quick, but they've got to be considered. So that's what we look, and that's worked out pretty well for us.
Yeah, nice. It's interesting.
I will say this about investing. Everything you do learn is cumulative. What I learned at 20 is useful.